Jaws 2. Because the first one was so good, you just had to fucking continue the story. Or the world, or whatever, both in this case. So, yes, let's make a sequel. Jaws 2. Let's make a sequel to a good shark movie and a good horror movie and a good movie in general. Because that works so well and so often back in the 70s. From movies from the 70s. Because, as we all know, sequelitis is nothing to be afraid of. First one, 10 out of 10. Sequel, 0 out of 10, along with the other 4 sequels after this. And many sequels to go after this. After this one. Many, many, many sequels to go. Sequels of Jaws. Oh, God. Jaws 2 has got to be the dumbest sequel I've ever seen in my life to any horror franchise or any franchise. I mean, I know a lot of people probably think that Jaws 3 and Jaws the Revenge are worse movies than Jaws 2. Yeah, those naive fools. That's stupid. You know, as bad as the other Jaws sequels got, at least it didn't brought back the same shark from the first one. And brought back as a zombie shark. Well, technically, that actually would make sense if it was a zombie shark. No, but the shark that got blown up in the first one, somehow, without explanation, has put itself back together through time. It is literally the same shark that got blown up in the first one. That's the big twist. And that's what's killing everyone. The same exact identical shark, not different, not related, but the same identical shark that got blown up into pieces by the main protagonist in the first one at the end of Jaws 1 returns. And how does this one get... How does he defeat the shark this one? Oh, he blows it up. How? With having it commit suicide by biting electricity. Plant. Biting electricity. By having it bite electricity. And, by having it bite electricity wire. Which blows the shark up again. And, you know, this is literally the same. This is not that much different of how you kill the shark. You know, I could say that this retreads the whole story, but copies the same story from the first one. But that would be an understatement. I think that would be giving too much credit, which it does do that. But you're telling me you couldn't even use a different shark? You couldn't make up a different shark? You couldn't make it, hey, if you want to bring the shark back, you might not just make a zombie shark. Because that would require effort, right? It's the same protagonist also in this movie too. He plays the same character. This slightly older version of himself, because this takes place a few years after the first one did. This was also made a few years after the first one did, so yeah, he kills the same shark twice. In the same exact fashion, and called the shark, I pretty much called Sarker son of a bitch. This, like the first time he calls it, and the shark blows up. He blows up. Couldn't they just, I mean, there's really no difference between this one and the first one. The only one difference is that this movie drags on and drags on and poorly written. Mostly due because you put the same shark in the same movie. What the hell is wrong with these writers? Oh, who decided to come up with it would be a good idea to put the same shark that got killed off in the same movie, and not really explain how how the same shark put itself back together without explanation. Like the shark's is all in one piece again. Screw this movie. This gets a 0 out of 10.